Hello and welcome back. In this video, we want to create a consumer. So we are going to have two consumer methods. So one will be to consume messages, okay, that is coming from the user service, and the other will be and it's going to be related to the seed data, and then the other one is going to be consuming messages also from the user service. They're both going to have different exchanges and routing keys. Okay, so let us implement the consumer. So I'll call this gig.consumer.ts or consumer. Okay, gig.consumer.ts. Okay, as usual, I think we can just copy one of the consumers we've already created. Okay, so let me copy one of these. I think it's fine. Or yeah, let me copy this. Okay, so just copy and then we paste right here, and then we make some changes. We copy our logger. Okay, and let me import logger from Winston, then import Winston logger from shared, and then import our config. Okay, and then I'll change this to gig server consumer. Okay, let me start importing what we need, and then here I'll import consume message. We are going to make some changes, and here I can remove all of this for now. Okay, so remove all of this, and also import the create connection. This is going to be at gig/queues. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, so the next thing, let's change the name. This will be consume gig direct message. Okay, and then let me export it. Export right here. Okay, so now let's make changes. I believe you should understand what we have right here: the exchange name, the assert exchange, assert queue, bind queue, consume. Okay, so for this, the messages will come from the user service. So let's find where exactly we are publishing the messages from, or the message from, on the user service. Okay, so let's go to the consumer, so the user consumer. Okay, yes, so this is the message that we want to consume. So remember here we are okay, so under the buyer review, you can see where we are publishing the message. The exchange is called Jobber update gig, and then the routing key is update gig, and then we send the type right here. Okay, so the type is update gig and the gig review. Okay, so here we're listening for messages coming from the Jobber review exchange, and then if the type is buyer review, okay, then we publish it to the gig service. Okay, so this is what we want to listen for. So I'll go back to my gig consumer. I will change here the exchange name is going to be Jobber update gig, and then the routing key, this is the routing key. Okay, and then for the queue name, I will just call this gig update queue. Okay, that is the queue name, and the exchange is going to be direct. We assert our queue, we bind the queue, and now let us consume the message. And this is going to be instead of user service, this is going to be gig service, gig consumer. Okay, and I don't even think we need the type. Okay, so we don't need the type, we just need only this gig review. Okay, so here we just get only the gig review, but I'll send the type. Maybe later something might happen and then I'll need this particular type, but what is most important is the review. Okay, so get the review, and then here I'll call await, And the method we just added was updates gig review right here. And here we pass in JSON.pass, or this should be JSON.pass, and then gig review. I know you must be wondering, oh, why are we using JSON.pass again when we already called JSON.pass right here? Now, the reason is simple. Let me explain. Remember that the top level, when you're publishing, here you call buffer.from, okay? So we need to use that. And I think where the message is published as well, we call JSON.stringify, okay? So this is for the top level. The JSON.pass is for the top level, and then this JSON.pass is for this specific JSON.stringify we are calling right here, okay? So that is why we need, and also for this toString that we are sending, okay? So we are sending this also as a string, not as the content itself, okay? So we need to pass it multiple times. That is why this is called twice, JSON.pass, JSON.pass, and then we get the gig review, okay? So I think mostly the JSON.pass is called on this part, okay? Yeah, I think this is the correct. So this second JSON.pass is called for this toString that we are using, while this first JSON.pass is called for this JSON.stringify we are using right here, okay? So that is why we called this twice. And then if we update, if everything's successful, we acknowledge the message, otherwise we throw an error, okay? So this is the first consumer we are creating. Now for the second consumer, we are going to need it when we create our seed data, but since we don't have it, we can just add the method and then we update it later, okay? So I'm going to duplicate this function right here, and I'll call this consume seed direct messages, okay? Now for this, the exchange name is going to be Jobber seed gig. Now the routing key, I'll call the routing key seed-gig-q, and then the queue name, okay? The queue name, I will call this receive sellers, receive-sellers, okay? It's going to be a direct exchange, and then every other thing here we add in. Probably what I'll do is I'll just, for now, I'll just console.log. Oh, we don't even need to console.log. I will just add a comment here. Use seed data function. Okay, let me add it as a to do. Okay, so let me add it as a to do, and then I will export this method. So later, once we add our seed function, seed data function, we are going to use it right here. Okay, so now that we have these two methods, let's go ahead and use them in the server.ts file. So here where we have the start queues method, I want to consume this, so I'll wait, and then I'll pass the gig channel. Let me import this, and then the second one is consume seed direct messages, okay, and then I'll import it as well. Let me make changes to this part. It's going to be at gig, okay. If you're wondering, okay, where are we getting this message from, or this exchange routing key, if we go to our user consumer, so go to user consumer, and let's see right here, okay. So remember, once we publish the message and it goes to the queue, it's requesting for sellers, okay. Before we can create gigs, we'll need to get sellers so that we get some sellers information. Once we get to that part, you're going to see, but this is where the message is published that we are listening for in the gig consumer, okay. So you can see from the user consumer, we publish this message to the Jobber seed gig exchange, and then we use this receive sellers routing key, okay. So you can see right here. I think I made a mistake. I just saw the mistake. This is supposed to be the routing key, and then this is supposed to be the queue name. Okay, yeah, I saw that. So you can see the routing key right here should match what we have here. Okay, so this is the routing key, and then this is the queue name. Okay, so later we are going to update this part.